Hey folks, how you doing? I wanted to talk a little bit about AI, AI bots in particular. As you know, I am an avid reader of news, and I consume anywhere from 6 to 10 hours worth of news a day between podcasts from reputable sources, reading articles that are highlighted by some central figures in politics, uh, and something really important happened in the last 24 hours on the 4chan boards. Now, let me pre-qualify this by saying the 4chan, 8chan, and Reddit boards are mostly anonymous. Okay, so when you read something, you don't know if it's real, if it's fake, if it's a crock of shit, if it's a figment of someone's imagination. But the biggest thing that it does is it gets the gears turning in your brain, makes you think about things. Um, a gentleman or a woman, I don't know who it is, it's anonymous, posted to 4chan claiming to be a Google employee and an engineer who's part of their AI bot team. Now, an AI bot is an artificial intelligence bot. It can hold conversations, it can create its own profiles, and it can conversate with people and argue and do all sorts of things. And when you create this AI bot, you can install an algorithm and a whole bunch of checks and balances so that you can craft a narrative, and that bot will push that narrative. It'll craft its own narrative based on its instruction set. Something very interesting about bots, because they're usually hosted on a supercomputer. They can hold thousands of conversations at any single time. I mean, at one moment, it could be having 100 different conversations with 100 different people on 100 different threads on Twitter. They could also be having conversations with people on Facebook, Google Plus, any of them, all of these different social platforms. So one AI bot is basically a bot army in itself. Anyways, in this post, which I will put a picture up related to it in the comments section below the video, this Google engineer claims to be part of an engineering team which has created AI bots for Twitter in order to engage people and focus on people to create a political narrative. Now, mind you, if you have the equivalent of thousands of bots on Twitter that can hold hundreds of different conversations simultaneously, it is an army of bots, basically. This engineer claims that Twitter employed Google to create these bots in order to um, sway a narrative in their liberal favor. Uh, that begs the question: are there bots being created for Twitter? Are there bots being created for Facebook? Are there bots being created for every different form of social media that's out there? And on top of that, our national discourse, our national talking amongst each other, our arguing, our different points of view, it has value. It makes certain hashtags trend. It makes certain posts trend. Now, what happens if AI bots are pushing those trends and humans aren't as powerful in pushing trends, real in our reality trends created by human beings? If there's a bunch of AI bots out there creating a bunch of trends that are based on their software and based on their, uh, their the software that cultivates their point of view and forces them to create an argument and a narrative based on that point of view. Uh, one bot could replace 1,000 people, as far as, I mean, maybe even more. It could replace the effectiveness of that many people. So, taking it one step further, a set of bots, an army of these AI bots, could actually bend the entire narrative of the country. Because let's say you have a Republican congressman who believes in certain things, and he posts, "Hey, please support this bill" on Twitter. Let's say he says, "Please support this bill. It's going to be great. It'll give us, more freedoms to own weapons, own guns." It's a two-way argument about the Second Amendment related to removing gun control and giving us more freedom. Okay. Well, what if they just assign 100 AI bots, or 1,000, or 5,000 AI bots to attack this congressman on his Twitter feed? All of a sudden, you have one bot who the congressman thinks is a human being responding to him, but it's not. "Hey, I live in your constituency and I don't support this bill at all." And all of a sudden, he's inundated with hundreds and hundreds and thousands of responses that are all negative to his bill. You think that might sway him? If he sees nothing but negatives about his bill, he might question himself and go, "Wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't push this bill." All right. Now, one thing this Google engineer says in his message on 4chan is he says that the 4chan posters, 8chan posters, the Q squad Redditors have actually helped to offset the power struggle between the AI bots and humans, because one effective counter poster, such as myself or someone who has the time to do this throughout the day, might be able to effectively argue and shut down some of those threads. The issue is this: if, let's say right now, they have, let's say, 1,000 AI bots out there doing all this, and we have 1,000 people dedicated to the cause to counteract them. What happens when they pump it up to 2,000 AI bots, 10,000 AI bots, 100,000 AI bots? You cannot combat that. And because of the way things are pushed through social media, everything is based on viral posts. It's based on what's trending. And when you have AI bots affecting that trend, it's actually affecting our national discourse. Liberals who might think that, "Oh man, I'm kind of on the fence about this issue because I talk to my friends at work and they say, hey, that's just crazy talk." And I go on social media though, and social media backs up all my beliefs. Well, that liberal's going to stay on the fence, or they're going to go onto the liberal side of the fence, where in reality, the human beings that are actually involved in the discourse are the majority on the right side of the fence. You see, this is where it's getting really complicated. And what I think I'm going to do is, we have a Labor Day weekend coming up. We got a long weekend. I think I'm going to craft a small document talking about AI and the power of AI bots in our national discourse, and maybe print it out, have it printed up and professionally proofread, make it a real document, and have a whole bunch of copies printed up. I'm talking 100, 200, 300, 400, maybe one for every member of Congress, and then send these to them. I'm not sure what the postage would cost on that. I would have to check on that. But maybe send out 500 or 1,000 copies of them in order to bring people the awareness, because this is some scary stuff. There's a couple different movies out there. There's a whole bunch of examples of AI saying some pretty creepy and some pretty crazy stuff. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to talk about two instances. One is an instance of Facebook. They had a pair of chatbots, AI chatbots, that they put in place back in 2017. They put them online. They allowed them to go online. These AI chatbots were so they evolved so quickly, they actually began creating their own language to communicate with each other. They began communicating with each other and creating their own language, so that who couldn't read it? Us. That's some scary stuff. So scary, in fact, that Facebook shut their chatbots down because that was some creepy stuff. If you YouTube AI bots, AI bots, that's AI one word, bots the second word. If you Google that on or YouTube search that, it'll come up with a whole slew of videos, and they'll show you actual examples of conversations between humans and AI bots and AI to AI communications where they immediately, within moments, talk about the singularity. The singularity is a potential future event where AI takes over. You know, at what point does AI become responsible for running our energy grid in a more efficient way than we can run it? At what point does the AI run our national defenses because it's faster, it's more efficient? Okay, this is exactly, and I know I'm kind of going on a limb here, but Terminator, the whole series of Terminator movies, is based on AI realizing that humans were the cause of most of the despair and heartache in the world. So what does the AI do? It exterminates the human race. There are already examples in video that you can find on YouTube of AI robots and AI bots talking about exterminating the human race. Now, if these are AI bots that are only a few months old, now you got to remember these things are are given a set of instructions, and then they have free thought as long as it's within a certain set of parameters. And they're using a supercomputer that might have thousands of cores of CPUs that are running simultaneously. Okay, one AI bot, one good example of an AI bot is Watson, the supercomputer Watson made by IBM. All right, it's beat everybody in intellectual competitions. It is now telling companies how to order their products more efficiently. And at what point does this thing take the step beyond that, where human life does become an issue, or our future becomes an issue? But right now, there are examples of Google creating AI bots. There are examples of Twitter paying Google to create AI bots to push their liberal narrative. This is scary stuff, folks. I implore you to go onto YouTube and search AI bots. I implore you to go on Google and search AI bots, uh, human extinction, AI bots singularity. It is some very, very scary stuff. And I'll tell you this, they do exist. There's proof that they exist. And big companies with big server farms like Amazon, Facebook, Google, they've all shown us examples of their AI bots that are a year, 2 years old. Where are they now? If they created that stuff in 2017, we're a year in advanced. In every few years, we double our CPU capability. We double the speed of things. Where's AI at now? Notice you don't see it in the news anymore. And I'll tell you why. These big tech companies have weaponized it. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind, and all of the evidence leads that direction. They have weaponized the AI bots to push their narrative. And it's up to us to talk to our Congress people at the state and federal level, whether they be congressmen, representatives, or senators. Get in touch with these folks. Find that information, and you got to spread the news, because this is some scary, scary stuff. I work my butt off in all my spare time throughout the day, posting and sending out memes and doing what I can to keep the conservative values that I hold dear in the spotlight. And it's really disheartening and disgusting to think that one single AI bot, could be counteracting everything I do throughout the day and counteracting 999 other people at the same time, because it has the ability to do these multi-threading conversations in real time, because it's not a human. It doesn't have to stop what it's doing, grab the phone, log in, post something, hit the send button, wait for a response, and respond. It's a machine. It's always available. It's always working. It will never ever stop once it starts, and it's just scary. It's really scary. I'm going to be making a video, and I'm definitely going to draw up some form of a document this weekend and start going through the House of Representatives and the Senate's websites to find out mailing addresses for these folks, because this is really important. This is something that needs to be on the books. A bill needs to be created right now, yesterday, because this is disgusting. And then I'm just wondering, we got midterms coming up in 9 weeks. What are these AI bots going to be doing in 9 weeks? Are they going to be fighting the Trump agenda? Are they going to be fighting what Americans are, the majority of Americans believe in? I don't know. Thank you very much for watching, and check the comments below. I'll put some links down there. Thanks.